Go many GAEF. Mocargical air falcha go G Malawarin Shuff. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time of the week. I know it's Monday. I don't know if we've done a live stream on a Monday in a few weeks. Anyway, greetings to you all. Welcome to episode number 346. Wow, not far off 350 at this stage. Hope you're all in good form this evening, this afternoon, this morning, this night, wherever you are in the world. If you're joining us for the first time, which is either on the Mythical Ireland Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, please do feel free to join in the conversation by commenting. We'll do our best to share your comment among what we call the Mythflix Tua. That basically means the Mythflix family. And Mythflix is just a nickname for Live Irish Myths. It's like Netflix, except for it's myths. Mythflix. Get it? Yes, that and more hilarious jokes to come. I hope not. This is you, so do we hope not. Anyway, it's dark. But the stars are shining. Look on the bright side. Get it? It's dark. Look on the bright side. Never mind. As we approach Samhain, that time of the year. Anyway, hope you're all in good form. First to comment tonight, shockingly, it's not Elaine Dent-Lingenfelter. It's Lily Shambles on YouTube. Good evening, Lily. Hope you're in good form. Hope the weather is agreeable. Johnny Wilson is saying a big hello from Dallas, Texas, where it's currently 28 degrees Celsius. Oh, that reminds me, I'm not doing my duty. It is currently 11 degrees Celsius here on the east coast of Ireland in the Boyne Valley. Elaine Dent-Lingenfeld, there she is. Hi, Anthony, and all the Tua. Another hot day, 85/29. Oh, it's a degree warmer than where you are, Johnny. While yesterday was a beautiful 24. As for how I am the first to post often, it's because my perps that I bail out of jail have to check in once a week. And they are allowed to do it in Messenger, so their employer doesn't hear their phone call. So every day between 1 and 4, 7 to 10 Ireland time, I am signed into Facebook. So I see your message as soon as it comes on. Aha! Now we know. Yeah. So, which is a bit sad. I really hoped that you were just sitting there waiting, for Live Irish Myths. You've kind of burst my bubble now, Elaine. I'm kind of sad now. I'm joking, of course. Brendan Byrne, who is in Glendalough in the county of Wicklow, is saying, good evening, one and all. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Brendan. Good to see you, as always. Hope you're in good form. Yes, as I just adjust this, pardon me for the interruption. How do I say that? Ngati Arihi? Ngati? I don't know how to say that. Ngati Arihi says, Tuesday morning greetings from Auckland, New Zealand. Well, a very good morning to you. Happy Tuesday from all of us still in Monday. Wow. Nico and Stephen are saying good evening, Anthony and the Mythflix family. To Coda and Saskia, Mouse sends tail wags, and our new Chihuahua puppies, Chuck and Maggie, do the same to the furry family members. Concho, Arizona is 65 and sunny. I'm sure they're wagging tails back in the direction of all the doggos. So Saskia was lame last week, and she was out for a grooming, and she has, I think, arthritis, and she's 14, and she seems to have hurt herself getting out of the car, so she was kind of whimpering, so we had to give her some medication. She seems to be in better form now, thankfully, and she looks fantastic. Michael P. Trott, who is also in New Zealand, is saying Kia ora all tua. Good. You're still in... Are you in Ireland or are you in New Zealand, Michael? Because it would be a shame if I was to say happy Tuesday to you if you were still in Monday. So maybe you might clarify. But hello and welcome anyway. Sharon O'Farrell is saying, good evening to I met your mum up at the Hill of Tara there. Was it last week or the week before? Time is flying. Who can believe it's into the latter part of October? I mean, it's ridiculous how fast it's going. Hello, Sharon. Derek Hollingsworth, I think that was 2 weeks ago. Derek Hollingsworth is saying, Gia Yiv Ulig, Tá Sulagum Gawil an Cailleach Livshe in Éireann. Hello, all, and I hope that Cailleach is with those in Ireland. That's from Derek Hollingsworth, Ongar in Dublin. Good evening to you, Derek. Hope the weather is suitably nice in Auckland. Lena O'Shea is saying good evening. Good evening to you, Lena. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. Rothio Marianne Lopez says, hello, Mighty Tua. I hope everyone is in good shape. I'm sending you a warm hug from Mexico, Puebla, even though it's been raining all these weeks and a bit cold. Hello, Mr. Anthony. We missed you so very much, but we're also happy you got some time for yourself. You deserve it. Yeah, I didn't really. It was just a very, very busy week last week. What with work and brass banding and illness and doggies and everything else. But anyway, I'm back and it's the Monday slot, not Tuesday or Wednesday. And Scott Doherty is saying, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Anne and Bill, if he's watching. Alan Hoskins is saying, going to say hi, everyone, and then have to head off. I'll catch up later. Enjoy the evening, everyone, and hope all are well. Mything you already. No stars here. Cloudy. Oh, dear. Love that. Mything you already. 5 stars. Brilliant. Helen Hirsch Chader is saying, greetings, Anthony and all the Tua. Watching on YouTube. Good afternoon, Helen. Hope you're in good form. Sue Prenter is saying, evening all. Looking forward to some light relief. Sorely needed. I think with the way the world is now, I think light relief is the order of the day. Mariana Dunn says, Banachty, dear Tua and Anthony from Alexandria, Virginia. A sunny, breezy day with a hint of fall here. Yeah, the leaves are coming off the trees here. We had a very grey week last week, and then the sun came out on Friday. It was so wonderful to see blue sky and sunshine after so much grey weather. Congratulations to my daughter, Tara, who passed her driving test. She is now a fully licensed driver, able to drive on her own, and can't take any of the credit for that. Well, I can, but, I won't, because she'll say, oh, Dad, how did you really have to embarrass me in front of all the Tua? Marilyn Whitney says, hello, everyone. 11 days until I arrive at Inisheer for the winter, dark and cool in Northampton, England. 11 days, Inisheer. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. So arriving just for Samhain. Wow. Excellent. What a time of the year to be out on the Aran Islands. Anne McCallum is in the house, says, hello, Anton and all the mighty Tua. I hope everyone's in fine form. We've had what's called Indian summer. It happens in late fall for a week or two. Warm, dry, sunny, lovely weather for the first and after the first frost, after the fall equinox. Last week in the low to mid 20s, but seems it's over because cooler this week. 16°C today and steadily decreasing with rain and morning frost. Really enjoying your recent podcast interview, The Deep Ponder. Excellent. Highly recommended. As always, glad to be here and looking forward to today's episode. Brilliant stuff, Anne. We're delighted to have you watching. Of course, as always, Adina Sparks is saying hello to everyone. So happy for a live stream today. It's a cool 68 Fahrenheit in New Mexico. If you want cool, I was going to say no. It doesn't get that cold here in Ireland, generally, touch wood. Go to Iceland or Greenland or Scandinavia. Yeah, Iceland is considered Scandinavia, is it? Or is it? Maybe not. Catherine Cleary says, greetings to Anthony and the Tua. So happy to join you all from a gorgeous day in San Diego. Still, I wish I was with you all in Ireland. Hey, you can be with us in spirit and you can be with us on the live stream. How will that do? Fascawa Atua says, Brian M. Avrayan, Konasatatu, Trinonawa. Richard Burgess says, hello to everyone from New York. Hope all are doing well. Oh, this is ridiculous. I've just suddenly got a bout of yawning. Maybe I should take a nap. Does somebody else want to take over the reading? Barbara Murphy says, hello, everyone from a lovely Tucson, Arizona. Typical early fall, 80s to 90s during the days, 50s at night. High desert, so big temperature swings. Sorry, I forgot to do the math for F2C conversion, and Facebook punishes me by limiting how I can respond to comments if I get out and come back. Fair enough. Let us do the conversions for you. So, 80 Fahrenheit in Celsius is 26.6. Wow. While 50 is 10. Yeah, okay. So you're getting down to kind of our temperatures at night. Wow. Michael Pike is in the house. Greetings, Anthony and the mighty Tua. Good afternoon to you, Michael. Welcome to the stream. Andrew Christie is saying, good evening, Myth fans. Oh my God, this is not good. Oh, Genie Marcus, I'm going to have to open a window. Not good. Where is Sir Thomas? Has he been kidnapped by the wee folk? Yeah, they're making him work extra hard on the anvil these days, I suspect. Desiree Riley is in the house. Hello to everyone. Amadeus also sends tail wags and half-cocked head. Not sure if they offer the CBD drops or supplements for pups in Ireland, but it does wonders for the older pups with arthritis. Oh, thank you for the recommendation, Desiree. Might try that, because if she's arthritis, it's not really going to get any better, Anyway, a very good afternoon to you. Good evening from the Boyne Valley. Oh, this is just terrible. Oh, I only had dinner recently. It seems to be just hitting me. Plus all the activities in the past week. Has anyone heard from Rex? Elaine wants to know. Good question. Yeah. And brass banding on Saturday in the north of Ireland band championships. And that was a long day too, but it was a long lead up to it as well. But we're out the other side of it now and looking forward to plenty of mythical Ireland activities. This is just not good enough. Ugh. I'm not going to last till 8:30, folks. In a change to the usual schedule, the host of Live Irish Myths fell asleep mid-episode this week. Kathy Maydeo says, good day, Mr. Anthony and all the Tua. I've been gone for a while, been busy with Raofel work in my head, don't know what that's supposed to be, was a little chaotic, but all is well and done just about. Hope all are well. Missed joining in these last couple of weeks. And we missed you as well, Kathy May. Glad to hear that the house is sorted out and welcome back. And hopefully that's going to be a regular thing. A sunny, windy fall. Daylo? Daylo? What's a Daylo, Joe? Come on. From Colorado. Hello from Colorado. Okay. I think I see what happened. Yes, it seems that something got mixed up, but hello from Colorado, where it's a sunny and windy fall day. Yes, I get it now, Joe. Thank you. Whoops, meant remodel. Aha! Yes, now I understand. With Raofel, it turns out, is a remodel. Brilliant. Wow. Tuesday Thompson is wishing us a happy Mythology Monday for once. We're actually live streaming on the correct day. What's this talk of sunshine? It's been chucking it down here the last couple of days. Actually, we had very heavy rain this morning for a couple of hours. Very heavy. But anyway, sun eventually came out. Speak of the devil, and he shall arrive on your doorstep. There's Ongawa, Tom King. Hello there. Anthony and the Mighty Two. Hope all a good fettle. Nippy sweetie time. And time for a gin. Enjoy story time. Alan Hoskins, I think it was, or was it Brendan Byrne, was asking whether you'd been kidnapped by the wee folk. Josie Weatherford says, GAE of a Kharja, it's good to be on and to join, but I might have to jump off soon and watch back later. That's perfectly acceptable, Josie, especially as the host is struggling to stay awake. But, that's a small detail. Mark Gordon is saying, good day from Des Moines. Des Moines in Iowa. A very good afternoon to you, Mark. Michael Pike says, awake. Tried to pre-order calendars. The response was, it can't ship to the US. Yeah, I got that sorted. And if you try again, there's 2 separate buttons. It's my web designer was saying it's because We've offered free shipping if you're in Ireland or Northern Ireland, but you have to press a separate button, which is rest of the world standard shipping. So if you go back into the calendar page, you'll see two buttons, Ireland free shipping and rest of world standard shipping. So if you click the rest of world standard shipping, you should be able to order, as several people have successfully done. So thank you. Hopefully you can try again. I think this may be a short episode, as we shall all be asleep at this rate, says Lily. Sorry. And yeah, you're right. Me and Amadeus got a family member to add to the tour, adopted a crested gecko named Popcorn. This will be his first live Irish Myths. Lol. Also, my brother, who many of you donated money to help with his cancer treatments, has had a particularly great week. His boyfriend proposed, and they're now happily engaged. Brilliant stuff. Congratulations to both of them. Well done. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, delighted to hear that. And hello to Popcorn. And of course to Amadeus. Hello, Amadeus. Good boy. Come here, boy. Coda's out there. No, he's not making any move. He's ignoring me this time. My brother asked his 5-year-old grandson what L and N meant on the car in front of them. Learner, Grandad. And the N, nuisance, Grandad, was the reply. Funny. Inishir on purpose for Samhain, but heading your way for Ishnak's celebration on 7th and the 8th, and hopefully a tour with someone called Anthony Murphy to see the sights in the Boyne Valley. That fella. I hear he's all right. Yeah, if you've got nobody better, he'll do, you know. It's flat out, Michael. Just finished tour with guests from Darwin, County, Australia. I think he meant Darwin County. No? No, you did. You meant it as a joke. Silly me. Don't mind me, Tom. I'm half asleep here. See, I told you he was flat out. And he's now yawning as well. Because, you know, it's catching. It is. It's what's the word? Contagious. Oh, I have the window open. It's cooling down here. So hopefully that'll do the trick. A bit of fresh air, you know. I might need to get a coffee. Helen is saying, doggy greetings from Bandit. It's his first Mythflix. Rick and I rescued him this week. 4 to 5-year-old Aussie Corgi mix. Hello, Bandit. Bandit. Here, boy. Who's a good doggy, huh? Alan Hoskins has to go. But he said the wee folk wouldn't be brave enough to take on Mr. King. Now I really do have to depart. Oh boy, group yawning. That's a new one. I know. Rex Fortenberry just messaged Desiree. He said he's doing very well, just busy. He's doing well, just very busy. He should be able to tune in next week. Brilliant stuff. We'll see him next week. So excellent. Yeah, Marilyn, Whitney, contagious. Yeah, a strong brew will see you right. Just depends. I think if Tom King drops over some of that nippy sweetie, I think I will be asleep in 10 minutes. So where do we start? Start at the beginning, I suppose. Wouldn't that be a good idea? So we finished a chapter the last time before our special tribute episode for the late Moncon McGann. I can't believe that those words are all being said in the same sentence. The late Moncon McGann. Can't believe he's gone, to be honest. Just gosh, y'all even have Amadeus yawning now. Sorry, Amadeus. And thank you to all of you who tuned in. And indeed for all the lovely comments. That episode seemed to strike a chord with a lot of people, and it's probably the most watched episode of Live Irish Myths this year, believe it or not. As of this moment in time, it has 1,900 views. So thank you. And look, it was one of those things. It had to be done. It had to be said. He left us far too soon. Just looking at significance of Fornox. Was the last sort of big watched episode. Summer solstice in ancient Ireland. 1,000 views. Yeah, interesting that. Anyway, thank you, as I say. And yeah, Michael confirms he is back in New Zealand and watched the Moncon McGann funeral. Thanks for posting the link. Wasn't that just a most beautiful send off? I think the best I've ever seen. Okay, Anthony, Maggie started yawning, then Chuck, now me. Apologies. Hopefully that fresh air is doing the world of good, you know. It seems to be anyway. So we finished a sub chapter, as it were, last week. Well, a chapter. So this week we're going to read The Dream of Angus, but because it's a short chapter, we will then also start the chapter called Cruachan. So chapter 8 is The Dream of Angus. And it's a funny one because, you know, it doesn't naturally belong in the Ulster cycle of tales. You know, and yet here it is in Cuchulain of Muirthemne. Anyway, I hope you're all ready. If you're interested, the book I'm reading from is Lady Gregory's Complete Irish Mythology. I know some of you have it because I've passed on a couple of copies of this over time. Whenever I have surplus or duplicate books in my collection, I tend to. I just wonder what that box was doing there. I tend to offer them for sale for fairly modest amounts on the old social media, you know. And yeah, I agree with Brendan that Moncon leaves a significant legacy, which he seems to have ignited a flame in everyone in relation to the Irish language in particular, and place names and myth and folklore and culture. And yeah, a bright star that burnt out too quickly, unfortunately. But what a legacy at the same time. The sort of legacy that most people just simply don't achieve or don't get round to, or some people don't bother trying. So yeah, anyway, let's start this chapter and see how we get on. This is A Dream of Angus. And you're probably familiar with, I'm hoping most of you are familiar with this story. I've spoken about it before. We've featured it in a live stream before. And there is a translation of it, a fairly detailed translation of it on the Mythical Ireland website, actually. I could share that, couldn't I? If you don't go sort of getting completely distracted by it right now. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Quickly, no. I could have just used the search feature. Ashlinga Angus, oh, The Dream of Angus. Yes, there it is. So I suppose if you want further reading for when the episode is finished, I will share this link for you, and you maybe bookmark it and have a read afterwards. So there, that link should come up for you now. Now, Angus is here spelled Angus, like Angus. It's generally spelled Oengus in the Irish. Angus, my one desire. And sometimes, most of the time, Aengus. Sometimes Aongus. And then Angus. So, but you know, there's no, as I've said many times before, there's no hard and fast spelling of particularly proper nouns, personal names, and place names in Irish, because in the Middle Ages, oftentimes a proper noun was spelt several different ways. in the same manuscript. It's probably because the bards who were relating the stories to the monks couldn't read or write and didn't know how to spell. So I could be wrong about that, but I think that's probably largely the reason for it. Anyway, Angus is how I will say it. You might look at that and say Angus, but no, that's not how we say it. Angus. Angus, son of the Dagda, was asleep in his bed one night, and he saw what he thought was a young girl standing near him at the top of the bed, and she the most beautiful he had ever seen in Ireland. He put out his hand to take her hand, but she vanished on the moment, and in the morning when he awoke, there were no trace or tidings of her. He got no rest that day thinking of her, and that she had gone away before he could speak to her. And the next night he saw her again, and this time she brought a little harp in her hand, the sweetest he ever heard, and she played a song to him, so that he fell asleep and slept till morning. And the same thing happened every night for a year. She would come to his bedside and be playing on the harp to him, but she would be gone before he could speak with her. And at the end of the year she came no more, and Angus began to pine away with love of her and with fretting after her. And he would take no food, but lay upon the bed, and no one knew what it was ailed him. And all the physicians of Ireland came together, but they could not put a name on his sickness or find any cure for him. But at last, Fergne, the physician of Con, was brought to him, and as soon as he looked at him, he knew it was not on his body the sickness was, but on his mind. And he sent everyone away out of the room, and he said, I think it is for the love of some woman that you are wasting away like this. That is true indeed, said Angus, and it is my sickness has betrayed me. And then he told him how the woman with the most beautiful appearance of any woman in Ireland used to come and be playing the harp to him through the night, and how she had vanished away. Then Fergne went and spoke with Boann, Angus's mother, and he told her all that happened, and he bade her to send and search all through Ireland if she could find a young girl of the same appearance as the one Angus had seen in his sleep. And then he left him in his mother's care, and she had all Ireland searched for a year, but no young girl of that appearance could be found. At the end of the year, Boann, now that's Boann, Boann, but also Bowen, Bo for the INN. Boann sent for Fergne to come again, and she said, We have not got any help from our search up to this. And Fergne said, Send for the Dagda, that he may come and speak to his son. So they sent for the Dagda, and when he came, he said, What have I been called for? It's interesting, isn't it, the way this happens for a year, and at the end of the year, Dagda comes. Kind of like visiting Newgrange once a year. That's the son, isn't it? What have I been called for? To give an advice to your son, to give an advice to your son, said Fergne, and to help him, for he is lying sick on account of a young girl that appeared to him in his sleep, and that cannot be found, and it would be a pity for him to die. What use will it be I to speak to him, said the Dagda, for my knowledge is no higher than your own. By the word, said Fergne, that you are the king of all the She of Ireland, and what you have to do is go to Bove, the king of the She of Munster, for he has a name for knowledge all through Ireland. And what's not said here, I don't think, that's interesting, is that Bov is another of the Dagda's sons. Bov is like a brother or a half brother to Angus, but it's not mentioned here, strangely. Bov Jarag, Bov the Red. So messengers were sent to Bov at his house in Sheafavon, and he bade them welcome. A welcome before you, messenger of the Dagda, he said. And what is the message you have brought? This is the message, they said. Angus, son of the Dagda, is wasting away these 2 years with love of a woman he saw in his dreams, and we have not been able to find her in any place. And this is an order to you, they said, from the Dagda, to search out through Ireland a young girl of the same form and appearance as the one he saw. The search will be made, said Bov, if it lasts me a year. I think you might be asking, the most viewed episode I was saying was the tribute to Moncon McGann, which was not last week's, the previous. Well, we didn't have an episode last week. The very last episode, 345 Ulla. And at the end of a year, Coda says hello. And at the end of a year, he sent messengers to the Dagda. Is it a good message you have brought? Said the Dagda. It is indeed, they said. And this is the message Bov bade us to give you. I have searched all Ireland until I found the young girl with the same form and appearance that you said at Loch Beol Dragun, at the harp of Cleach. And now, they said, he bids Angus to come with us till he sees if it is the same woman that appeared to him in his dream. So Angus set out in his chariot to Sheafavon, and Bov bade him welcome, and made a great feast for him that lasted 3 days and 3 nights. And at the end of that time he said, come out now with me and see if this is the same woman as came to you. So they set out together till they came to the sea. And there they saw 3 times 50 young girls, and the one they were looking for among them, and she was far beyond them all. And there was a silver chain between every 2 of them, but about her own neck there was a necklace of shining gold. And Bov said, do you see that woman you were looking for? I see her indeed, said Angus. But tell me who she is, and what her name is. Her name is Caer Orme, daughter of Ethel Anvoal, from She Owen, in the province of Connacht. But you cannot bring her away with you this time, said Bov. Then Angus went to visit his father, the Dagda, and his mother, Boann, at Brunabonia, and Bov went with them. And they told how they had seen the girl, and how they had heard her own name and her father's name. What is it her name means? Care, Ewberry or something like that, isn't it? I think it means Ewberry or something like that. Of course, it doesn't say it on my own page. How disappointing. What had we best do now, said the Dagda. The best thing for you to do, said Bov, is to go to Aileel and Maeve, for it is in their district she lives, and you had best ask their help. So the Dagda set out until he came into the province of Connacht, and 60 chariots with him. 60, no less. That's like I don't know, they used the ancient equivalent of the M4 or something to get there. And Ailill and Maeve made a great feast for him. And after they had been feasting and drinking for the length of a week, Ailill asked the reason for their journey. Like, no, let's feast for a week before. No, it's urgent. No. We still have to feast for a week. Let's drink and eat and make merry. And then at the end of a week, you can tell me what your urgent task is. And the Dagda said, "It is by reason of a young girl in your district. For my son has sickness upon him on account of her. And I am come to ask if you will give her to him." "Who is she?" said Ailill. So you can see where this might have been considered, as it was, I believe, one of the Remscale for the four tales to Táin Cuchulain, because it's got Ailill and Maeve in it. But I do think it's an older tale that was sort of subsumed into the Ulster cycle, so to speak, especially considering it mostly concerns the Tuatha Dé Danann. "Who is she?" said Ailill. "She is Caer Orme, daughter of Ethel Anvoal. We have no power over her that we could give her to him," said Ailill and Maeve. So basically they feasted and drank for a week, only to be told, "We can't help you." This is where the Irish tales are often so funny. Hilarious, actually. Yes, they never. No. Don't tell me now. I don't need to know why you've come all the way over to Connacht from Brunabonia. And I know it might be urgent, but I insist. No, let's get pissed drunk and let's eat to our heart's content for an entire week, and then you can tell me. And at the end of all of that, he turns around. Ailill and Maeve turn around and say, "Sorry, we can't help." Hey, but at least we had a good week-long feast, right? "The best thing for you to do," said the Dagda, "would be to call her father here to you." A practical man, the Dagda. Oh, wait, he wasn't a man. A practical god, the Dagda. The M4 is following their route, which is why I said that. Yes, exactly. Ivania Lee is in the house. Marina, good morning. Good morning. Gia Ditch. Yeah, well, this is kind of how it's pronounced. Gia Gutch and Croaso. I was going to say Creosote. And Croaso Mighty Tua from the mighty Waikato, Aotearoa, New Zealand. A very good morning to you, Ivania. Happy Tuesday. Everything's better on a full stomach, says Maureen, even if it's "sorry, we can't help you." I'm just looking to see if I missed anything. Desiree is getting in on the humour. I'll tell you what, the ancient Irish must have been good at math, because they sure liked to practice multiplication. Lol. Amanda June Haggerty says, "Phew, I'm here. I got caught up making lunches for tomorrow." Hey, it has to be this week-long feast won't happen unless you make lunch, you know. So Ailill sent his steward to Ethel Anvoal, and he said, "I have come to bid you to go and speak with Ailill and with Maeve." It's a funny thing, really, when you think about it. The Dagda has already been described here as the king of all the She of Ireland. He is the sovereign, he's the king of the chief of the Tuatha Dé Danann. First of all, after his son has been lovesick for a year, he says, "Oh, sure, what use would it be me talking to him?" That sounds very Irish. That sounds very sort of 20th century Irish, you know. "So, you know, emotionally detached fathers. "So what good would it do me talking to him? So what good would that do? Oh, so look, I'd love to get someone else to talk to him, you know." But now he's having to sort of almost petition Ailill and Maeve for help in this matter. And don't get me wrong, I know Maeve in particular and Ailill were powerful, but surely not more powerful than the king of the Tuatha Dé Danann himself. Strange one. But hey, this is Irish mythology. Almost nothing gets a logical explanation. Don't go looking for it, because you won't find it, right? "I will not go," he said. "I will not give my daughter to the son of the Dagda." So he knew what it was about, obviously. So the steward went back and told this to Ailill. He will not come, he said, and he knows the reason you want him for. So here we've got someone else refusing to even come and discuss the matter, which involves the son of the king of the Tuatha De Danann. Wow. Then there was anger on Ailill and on the Dagda. You're damn right there was. And they went out, and their armed men with them, and they destroyed the whole place of Ethel Anvoal, and he was brought before them. See, better to just agree to these things, folks. When the king of the Sidhe says, come here, listen, I want you to come and talk to me, you don't say no. And Ailill said to him, give your daughter now to the son of the Dagda. Again, it's a curious circumstance that Ailill is basically ordering Ethel Anvoal to give Care Orme or Yoverme to Angus, when the Dagda ostensibly is far more powerful. That is what I cannot do, he said, for there is a power over her that is greater than mine. Well, why didn't you just come and say that the first time instead of refusing to come? What power is that? Said Ailill. It is an enchantment, he said, that is on her. She to be in the shape of a bird for 1 year, and in her own shape the next year. Which shape is on her at this time? Said Ailill. I would not like to say that, said her father. Oh my God, does this guy know nothing? I mean, does he not learn? It's going to be squeezed out of you one way or the other, buddy. Better off just to say it straight out. Your head from you if you will not tell it, said Ailill. See, there you go. I told you, right? Well, said he, I will tell you this much. She will be in the shape of a swan next month at Loch Baal Dragun, and 350s of beautiful birds will be along with her. And if you will go there, you will see her. Of course, as I've often mentioned, when you see 350s or thrice 50 in Irish mythology, apparently that doesn't mean exactly 150. It means a large crowd or large group or an uncountable number. Amanda June says, week-long feast? I'm in. When and where? Well, at the rate you're making sandwiches, I think it's going to be your place, Amanda. Samantha Healy's a bit late. Hashtag. Hashtag that's fine, Samantha. Hashtag good evening. Hashtag fault your oath. And good evening to you, and welcome. The Greeks would never ask a guest their reason for coming until the guest brought up the subject. Ailill might in fact be Zeus when a brief comment describes him as one who sleeps with many women. Wouldn't power change at home or elsewhere? So a mortal king in his kingdom might be closer in power to the Tuatha De Danann king when both are in the mortal's kingdom. Maybe. Yeah, possibly. So then Ethel was set free, having made the whole episode much more difficult than it needed to be by refusing to come in the first place. And he made friends again with Ailill and Maeve. And the Dagda went home and told Angus all that had happened. And he said, go next summer to Loch Baal Dragun and call her to you there. Interesting, because I'm wondering, and I have written about this more than once, but in Island of the Setting Sun in particular, if it's in summer, it's hardly likely to relate to the migratory birds that come into Brunabonia, which are the ones called the whooper swans. Yeah, that's fascinating. So just bear with me on that while I stifle a yawn. John Inman, good to see you. Always good company. Hello, John. Welcome. Watching on YouTube. Pleasure to see you. So when the time came, Angus Og went to the loch And he saw 3 times 50 white birds there, with their silver chains about their necks. And Angus stood in a man's shape at the edge of the loch, and he called to the girl, "Come and speak with me, O Care." "Who is calling me?" said Care. "Angus calls you," he said. "And if you come, I swear by my word, I will not hinder you from going into the loch again." "I will come," she said. So she came to him, and he laid his 2 hands on her, and then, to hold to his word, he took the shape of a swan on himself, and they went into the loch together, and they went round it 3 times. And then they spread their wings and rose up from the loch, and went in that shape till they were at Dream of Angus. And as they were going, the music they made was so sweet that all the people that heard it fell asleep for 3 days and 3 nights. And Care stopped there with him ever afterwards, and from that time there was friendship between Angus Og and Eilean Maeve. And it was on account of that friendship Angus gave them his help at the time of the war for the Brown Bull of Cuchulain. And that is that story as it ends, right there. Fascinating, because I proposed that the swans of the tale, certainly the idea of swans flying into Newgrange, well, when you're there in the winter time, in October, as it happens, and you see the whooper swans arriving in large numbers, generally more than 50 of them at Newgrange, you just tend to wonder about how long has that been happening, and has that been happening since the Stone Age, and in fact has that been happening since the Ice Age. And these birds, we now know, arrive in very large flock numbers from Iceland. They come to Ireland in the winter because it's comparatively warmer here than it is in Iceland, and they spend from October to March here before flying off again. So I wonder if the fact he's gone to get her in summer perhaps relates to the fact that these birds were basically mysteriously disappearing for half a year, a little more than half a year, and that the people of Stone Age Dream of Angus did not know where they were going, except for that they flew off to the north. Interesting stuff. And also the possibility that this is all related to that great constellation of the sky that we know as Cygnus today, which literally means the swan. It is cross-shaped, just like the chamber of Newgrange. This idea of Angus and Care, both in the form of swans flying into Newgrange, and then Newgrange pointing to Fornox, and Fornox pointing to the rising place of the tail star, the bright star of Cygnus, which we know as the Arabic name Deneb, which means the tail of the swan or the tail of the hen. Something that really instilled a lot of awe and mystic wonder in myself and Richard Moore when we wrote Island of the Setting Sun back in about 2006. Published in November of that year, still in print. If you are a first-time viewer, and even if you're not, if you haven't got a copy, you can order a copy signed by myself on the Mythical Ireland website. And there's a whole chapter in that book about this called the Cygnus Enigma, and the idea that it might have been that story, at least partly inspired by the swans who were migrating in and out of there, coming in the winter time and departing again in the spring. And then we move on to chapter 9, which is called Cruachan. So when you see Cruachan, that is basically one and the same as the complex that is known as Rathcroghan, the royal site of Connacht in the modern day county of Roscommon. And if you're interested in going there, they do have a visitor centre at Tulsk. And it's a fairly substantial landscape, consisting of a lot of different monuments from a lot of different time periods over a large area. I think over 200 of them. Sorry, one moment. And but a place that's intensely important also in mythology. It's archaeologically important, but it's also important in mythology. A bit like Dream of Angus, but of course it doesn't have those gigantic Stone Age remnants that Brunebonia has. Not that we know of anyway, but so it's the main mound of Rathcroghan. I don't think there's enough archaeological excavation has been done to say exactly what period of time it belongs to. Now, as to Cruachan, the home of Ailill and of Maeve, it is on the plain of Mai AI, Maghai. May is that pronounced? I would say Cruachan I is Cruachan I, isn't it, rather than E? Cruachan I. So my I in the province of Connacht. And this is the way the plain came by its name. In the time long ago, there was a king whose name was Conn, or Conn, Conn, that had the druid power. So that when the Sidhe themselves came against him, he was able to defend himself with enchantments as good as their own. And one time he went out against them and broke up their houses and carried away their cattle. And then, to hinder them from following after him, he covered the whole province with a deep snow. So, one of these tales of a mortal who is has the power to subdue Tuatha De Danann power. Interesting. The Sidhe went then to consult with Dalach, the king's brother, that had the druid knowledge even better than himself. And it is what he told them to do: to kill 300 white cows with red ears and to spread out their livers on a certain plain. Sounds a bit weird, but let's keep with the story. And when they had done this, he made spells on them, and the heat the livers gave out melted the snow over the whole plain and the whole province. And after that, the plain was given the name of Mai Ai, the plain of the livers. Wow. Ailill was son of Rus Rua, king of Leinster. It kind of sounds a little bit like a creation myth, that, doesn't it? A little bit. Generally, I mean, we have the dismemberment of monsters and gods and goddesses and giants in Irish and European and world mythology. The idea of animals being killed and their parts giving names to landscapes, you know that it has a kind of a whiff of creation myth. So Coda wanted to come in, and now he's in, and I don't know what he wants. He just wants to sit there. Ailill was son of Rus Rua, king of Leinster, and Maeve was daughter of Yochi, king of Ireland. And her brothers were the three fair twins that rose up against her father. Again, that's a very Irish thing to say. The three fair twins. Sure, wouldn't they be what we call triplets? Wouldn't they? And fought against him at Drumcrea. And they were beaten in the fight and went back over the Shannon, that's the Shannon River, and they were overtaken and their heads were cut off and brought back to their father, and he fretted after them to the end of his life. 7 sons Ailill and Maeve had, and the name of every one of them was Maine, M-A-I-N-E. There was Maine Mathramail, like his mother, and Maine Athramail, like his father, and Maine Mo Eppert, the talker, and Maine Milscohach, the honey-worded, and Maine Ando, the quick, and Maine Mingor, the gently dutiful, and Maine Morgor, the very dutiful. Their own people they had, and their own place of living. This now was the appearance of Cruachan, the royal house of Ailill and of Maeve, that some called Cruachan of the poets. There were 7 divisions in the house, with couches in them, from the hearth to the wall. A front of bronze to every division, and of red yew with carvings on it. And there were the 7 strips of bronze from the foundation to the roof of the house. The house was made of oak, and the roof was covered with oak shingles. 16 windows with glass there were, and shutters of bronze on them, and a bar of bronze across every shutter. There was a raised place in the middle of the house for Ailil and Maeve, and silver fronts and strips of bronze around it, and 4 bronze pillars on it, and a silver rod beside it, the way Ailil and Maeve could strike the middle beam and check their people. And outside the royal house was the dun with the walls about it that were built by Brock, son of Blar, and the great gate, and it is there the houses for and it is there the houses were for strangers to be lodged. And besides this, there was at Cruachan the hill of the She, or as some call it, the cave of Cruachan. It was there Midger brought Etain one time, and it is there the people of the She lived, but it is seldom any living person had the power to see them. It's interesting because this is undoubtedly Oinagat, the cave of the cats at Rathcrohan, which has been closed in recent times because of gas. It is out of that hill a flock of white birds came one time, and everything they touched in all Ireland withered up until the last men of Ulster killed them with their slings. And another time, stop getting distracted, Anthony. And another time, enchanted pigs came out of the hill, and in every place they trod, neither corn nor grass nor leaf would sprout before the end of 7 years, and no sort of weapon could wound them. But if they were counted in any place, or if the people so much as tried to count them, they would not stop in that place, and they would go on to another. But however often the people of the country tried to count them, no 2 people could ever make out the one number. And one man would call out, "There are 3 pigs in it," and another, "No, but there are 7," and another that it was 11 that were in it, or 13, and so the count would be lost. One time Maeve and Ailil themselves tried to count them on the plain, but while they were doing it, one of the pigs made a leap over Maeve's chariot, and she in it. Everyone called out, "A pig has gone over you, Maeve." "It has not," she said, and with that she caught hold of the pig by the shank. But if she did, its skin opened at the head, and it made its escape. Somebody telling pork pies here. And it is from that the place is called My Mocriva, the plain of swine counting. Yes. Can I help you? What are you nudging my elbow for? What? What? He's here looking for affection. And he's not going to get it off me. Okay, he is. Is that nice, is it? Oh, yeah. The ears are back, and he's like, "Oh, yeah." Further down the back. "Oh, yeah. Oh, just there. Yeah, that's lovely. Oh, nice. Yeah, great." So do you mind if I kind of read the story? Kind of people, there's like 50 people watching you. What? Are you coming up? Oh, there we go. Ah, there you go. There's a happy boy, huh? Who's a happy boy? Who's a happy boy? Who's a happy boy? Oh, you're very handsome. Showing off now. Look, he's showing off. He's like, yeah. I'll take more of that. Page 424. Just going to try and just swing the camera a bit and put the focus on him. Of course, he'll disappear now as soon as I do that. Watch. Yes, there you go. Told you he would, didn't I? But he's still nudging me elbow looking for. Hang on now. Focus. Anyway, we interrupt this broadcast. What? Oh, yes. So as much as I mean, I will be honest, I think they like this. I think they like seeing you, and Yeah, they're all commenting now. It's like they're there watching. Yeah, I think you're really a show dog at heart. Maybe he could take part in what's it called, the Crufts Dog Show one of these years. Right, come here. Listen, I have to read. Go on, good boy, good boy. He doesn't want to go now. He's giving me the sad eyes. Go on, good boy. Go on. Now, another time, Freach, son of Idath of the men of Connacht, that was the son of Boan's sister, Bayfin from the She, came to Cruachan. And of course, this is the tale that we read, a few years ago, called Toynbo Freach. Amanda June says, you have a fairy dog. As soon as the camera focuses on him, he disappears. Yes, indeed. So Freach, son of Idath of the men of Connacht, that was the son of Boan's sister, Bayfind from the She, came to Cruachan. And Bayfind just means bright lady or white lady. He was the most beautiful of the men of Ireland or of Alban. So the most beautiful of the men of Ireland or Scotland. I think they mean both. But his life was not long. It was to ask Findavar for his wife he came. And before he set out, his people said, send a message to your mother's people, the way they will send you clothing of the She. So he went to Boan, that was at my Bray, that's Brega, and he brought away 50 blue cloaks with 4 black ears on each cloak, and a brooch of red gold with each, and pale white shirts with loop beasts of gold around them. Loop beasts. Wow. Loop beasts of gold. Tom King, are you getting some ideas here? And 50 silver shields with edges, and a candle of a king's house in the hand of each of the men. Knobs of carbuncle under them, and their points of precious stones. They used to light up the night as if they were the sun's rays. And he had with him 7 trumpeters with gold and silver trumpets, with many-coloured clothing, with golden, silken heads of hair, with coloured cloaks, and 3 harpers with the appearance of a king on each of them. Every harper having the white skin of a deer about him, and a cloak of white linen, and a harp bag of the skins of water dogs. Is that water dogs coo? Dower coo. Water dogs is literally, I think, translated from dower coo. And dower coo in Irish also refers to the otter, isn't it? Yeah, the dower coo. But then there's the dower coo, which is sort of like an otherworldly animal, Let me just very quickly catch up with the comments. Mavanwe has joined us. Good evening, all from Wales. Trouble with the internet today, so I'm moving the laptop around the place and hoping for the best. Finally managed to join. Hope everyone's well. In good form here, Mavanwe, after a very busy couple of weeks. But good to see you, and I hope you're likewise in good form. Ivania tells us that closer to half of the world's whale species are found in New Zealand waters. In my wanderings, I imagine people following the whales migration trail to New Zealand. In New Zealand was found Bombay obelisk. There were 3 boulders with spiral. Beside the southern motorway are sacred relics of an ancient civilization. Said to the obelisk allegedly helped ancient New Zealanders plot the movements of the stars and make abstruse mathematical calculations. Wow. Fascinating stuff. Lots of comments about Coda. He's really becoming quite the camera hound. Lol, yes, indeed. Flying pig, says Barbara Murphy. Yes, I didn't think of that one myself. Desiree points out about Cygnus. if I'm correct, I think even at Gobekli Tepe, Cygnus constellation is a bird. Amazing stuff, isn't it? How these things persist through different cultures across different times in different continents, you know. I think I'm fairly caught up. Whale bones used in Orkney in the Neolithic, says Brian. What were they used for, actually? Probably for hooks and things and points, arrowheads or something, were they? Coda says he otter be an otter. Ha 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 ha. Bum bum bum. Bubbity bum. The watchman saw them from the dun when they had come into the plain of Cruachan. I see a great crowd, he said, coming towards us. Since Ailill was king and Maeve was queen, there never came and there never will come a grander or more beautiful crowd than this one. Or a more beautiful crowd than this one. It is like as if I had my head in a vat of wine with the breeze that goes over them. Bizarre and interesting way of putting things. Then Freya's people let out their hounds, and the hounds found 7 deer and 7 foxes and 7 hares and 7 wild boars, and hunted them to Rath Cruachan, and there they were killed on the lawn of the dun. Then Ailill and Maeve gave them a welcome. Interesting. Deer, foxes, hares, and wild boars. Then Ailill and Maeve gave them a welcome, and they were brought into the house. And while food was being made ready, Maeve sat down to play a game of chess with Freya. And of course, when you see the word chess, that is fichel, which is an Irish game that was a little bit like chess, like chess, should I say? Something crazy is going on with the microphone. By any chance, is it me rubbing the book off it? Apologies. That might be what it is. Paul Campbell has joined us from Galway. A very good evening to you, from east to west, from Drogheda at Inverculpa to Galway, way out on the Atlantic coast. Good evening to you, Paul. Good to see you. I'll read that again. Then Ailill and Maeve gave them a welcome, and they were brought into the house. And while food was being made ready by Amanda June, Maeve sat down to play a game of chess with Freya. It was a beautiful chessboard they had, all of white bronze, and the chessmen of gold and silver, and a candle of precious stones lighting them. A candle of precious stones? How do you make a candle out of precious stones? Wow. Pardon me while I make a margin note. That's interesting, isn't it? Then Ailill said, let your harpers play for us while the feast is being made ready. Let them play indeed, said Freya. So the harpers began to play, and it was much that the people of the house did not die with crying and with sadness. And the music they played was the 3 cries of Muirthemne. It was Muirthemne, the harp of the Dagda, that first played those cries the time Boan's sons were born. The first was a song of sorrow for the hardness of her pains. And the second was a song of smiling and joy for the birth of her sons. And the third was a sleeping song after the birth. And with the music of the harpers, and with the light that shone from the precious stones in the house, they did not know the night was on them, till at last Maeve started up, and she said, we have done a great deed to keep these young men without food. It is more you think of chess playing than of providing for them, said Ailill. And now let them stop from the music, he said, till the food is given out. Then the food was divided. It was Lohar used to be sitting on the floor of the house, dividing the food with his cleaver. and he not eating himself. And from the time he began dividing, food never failed under his hand. After that, Freach was brought into the conversation house, and they asked him what it was. What was it he wanted? A visit to yourselves, he said, but he said nothing of Findavar. So they told him he was welcome, and he stopped with them for a while, and every day they went out hunting, and all the people of Connacht used to come and to be looking at them. I don't know the tune to that. I like sandwiches. I eat them all the time. I eat them for my breakfast and I eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. Yes, so this is partly what I was thinking, Brian. Piezoelectric quartz crystals light up when struck. They call that process triboluminescence, I think, isn't it? Amazing stuff. I've never tried it, but apparently if you get like a rock saw, a circular saw, and you put a block of quartz through it and make two really smooth sides, when you rub them together, they make this, it's kind of a bluish light, isn't it? From what I remember. Amazing stuff, you know. But all this time, Freach got no chance of speaking with Findavar until one morning at daybreak. He went down to the river for washing, and Findavar and her young girls had gone there before him. And he took her hand and he said, "Stay here and talk with me. It is for your sake I am come, and would you go away with me secretly?" "Oh, what a proposal!" "I will not go secretly," she said, "for I am the daughter of a king and of a queen." She's got honor and standards, lad. So you better be careful of those and make sure to honor them. So she went from him then, but she left him a ring to remember her by. It was a ring her mother had given her. Then Freach went into the conversation house to Ailill and to Maeve. "Will you give your daughter to me?" he said, which must have seemed like it had come very suddenly, since previously when he was asked, "What are you doing here, lad?" "I just want to visit you guys, and I'm perfectly happy with that." All of a sudden, straight out, blurts it out, "I want your daughter." We will give her if you will give the marriage portion we ask," said Ailill, "and that is 60 black grey horses with golden bits." Wow. "And 12 milch cows, and a white red-eared calf with each of them. And you to come with us with all your strength and all your musicians at whatever time we go to war in Ulster. I swear by my shield and by my sword, I would not give that for Maeve herself," he said. And he went away out of the house. It was kind of a big asking price, though, in fairness, wasn't it? I think we'll all agree on that point. But Ailill had taken notice of Findavar's ring with Freach, and he said to Maeve, "If he brings our daughter away with him, we will lose the help of many of the kings of Ireland. Let us go after him and make an end of him before he has time to harm us." Wow. Things have suddenly taken a turn, haven't they? "That would be a pity," said Maeve, "and it would be a reproach on us." "It will be no reproach on us the way I manage it," said he. And Maeve agreed to it, for there was vexation on her that it was Findavar that Freach wanted, and not herself. And if there's one thing that we know about Maeve, of course, is that she said, didn't she, that she always had one man waiting in the shadow of another. And she was willing to offer her thighs, which was, euphemism for sex, basically, to warriors and kings to try to sway things in her favor, even when she was married. And she had one husband who, we read this, didn't we? She had one husband. We read this recently, didn't we? Or did I read it somewhere else? I can't remember. But she had one husband who had to swear to be patient and not to suffer from jealousy. And of course, what did she do? But she went and started having a relationship with another man. And he had to be very careful about not being too jealous. I was going to say Freck. Fergus, wasn't it? Fergus and... Was it Fergus and Eileen, or was it someone else? There's just so much, and I find it so difficult to retain it all. I have to read stuff several times and write about it to memorize it. So they went out into the palace, and Ailill said, "Let us go and see the hounds hunting until midday." So they did so. So they did so. That's what it says. So they did so. And at midday, they were tired, and they all went to bathe in the river. Not to lie down in a bed? No. And Freck was swimming in the river, and Ailill said to him, "Do not come back till you bring me a branch of the rowan tree there beyond, with the beautiful berries." For he knew there was a prophecy that it was in a river Freck would get his death. So I'm going to read probably one more page before we call a halt and continue then next week. So actually I might read. We'll see. So he went and broke a branch off the tree and brought it back over the water. And it is beautiful, he looked over the black water, his body without fault, and his face so nice, and his eyes very grey, and the branch with the red berries between the throat and the white face. And then he threw the branch to them out of the water. "It is ripe and beautiful the berries are," said Ailill. "Bring us more of them." So he went off again to the tree, and the water worm that guarded the tree got a hold of him. So I'm always interested about water worms guarding trees in water, because this sounds again very sort of ancient Indo-European sort of. It sounds like a familiar theme of mythology. "Let me have a sword," he called out, but there was not a man on the land would dare to give it to him, through fear of Ailill and of Maeve. But Findevar, here's where she turns heroine. Findevar made a leap to go into the water with a gold knife she had in her hand. But Ailill threw a sharp-pointed spear from above through her plaited hair that held her. But she threw the knife to Freck, and he cut off the head of the monster and brought it with him to the land. But he himself had got a deep wound. Sorry, I'm taking notes here again. Then Ailill and Maeve went back to the house. I'm waiting for... They helped Freck because he was wounded. "It is a great deed we have done," said Maeve. "It is a pity indeed what we have done to the man," said Ailill. "And let a healing bath be made for him now," he said, "of the marrow of pigs and of a heifer." So this is a theme that we see also in Toynbee Cuchulain in another tale, the wounding of Cethrn. Cethrn. Wasn't he the warrior who was wounded and who was bathed in the bath of marrow? Shmiromar. And there's a place near Ardee in County Louth, and this all feeds into the whole high man theory. Shmiromar, Smarmore, is apparently derived from this, the bath of marrow. It's a curious thing. Does anybody know here? Does anybody have any knowledge or expertise in this? Would the marrow of pigs and cattle do they contain healing properties? Would they be capable of healing human wounds? So this is the bath of marrow. Again, I'm taking margin notes. Frech was put in the bath then, and pleasant music was played by the trumpeters, and a bed was made for him. Then a sorrowful crying was heard on Cruachan, when they saw 3 times 50 women with purple gowns, with green headdresses, and pins of silver on their wrists. And a messenger went and asked them who it was they were crying for. For Frech, son of Idath, they said, boy darling of the king of the She of Ireland. Then Frech heard their crying, and he said, lift me out of this, for that is the cry of my mother and of the women of Boan. So they lifted him out, and the women came round him and brought him away to the hill of Cruachan. And the next day he came out, and he whole and sound, and 50 women with him. They're just coincidental facts, folks. The fact that he's suddenly well and sound, and the fact that there are 50 women with him. Just a coincidence. The healing was from the bath of marrow, right? And they with the appearance of women of the She. And at the door of the dun they left him, and they gave out their cry again, so that all the people that heard it could not but feel sorrowful. It is from this the musicians of Ireland learned the sorrowful cry of the women of the She. And then he went into the house, and when he went into the house, the whole household rose up before him and bade him welcome, as if it was from another world he was come. And there was shame and repentance on Ailill and Maeve for trying to harm him, and peace was made, and he went away to his own place. Sure, look, we'll keep going. And it was after that he came to help Ailill and Maeve, and that he got his death in a river, as was foretold, at the beginning of the war for the Brown Bull of Cuchulain. At one time the hill was robbed by the men of Cruachan, and this is the way it happened. One night at Samhain, always Samhain when the most mysterious and interesting things happen. One night at Samhain, Ailill and Maeve were in Cruachan with their whole household, and the food was being made ready. 2 prisoners had been hanged by them the day before, and Ailill said, whoever will put a gad round the foot of either of the 2 men of the gallows will get a prize from me. It was a very dark night, and bad things would always appear on that night of Samhain, and every man that went out to try came back very quickly into the house. I will go if I get a prize, said Nera then. I will give you this gold-hilted sword, said Ailill. So Nera went out, and he put a gad round the foot of one of the men that had been hanged. Then the man spoke to him. It is good courage you have, he said, and bring me with you where I can get a drink, for I was very thirsty when I was hanged. What's a gad, by the way? G-A-D. Can someone help? I don't know what that is. So Nera brought him where he would get a drink, and then he put on the gallows again and went. And then he put him on the gallows again and went back to Cruachan. But what he saw was the whole of the palace as if it was on fire before him, and the heads of the people of it lying on the ground. And then he thought he saw an army going into the hill of Cruachan, and he followed after the army. There is a man on our track, the last man said. The track is the heavier, said the next to him, and each said that word to the other from the first to the last. Then they went into the hill of Cruachan, and they said to their king, what shall be done to the man that is come in? Let him come here till I speak with him, said the king. So Nera came, and the king asked him who it was had brought him in. I came in with your army, said Nera. Go to that house beyond, said the king. There is a woman there that will make you welcome. Tell her it is I myself sent you to her, and come every day, he said, to this house with a load of firing. So Nera went where he was told, and the woman said, "A welcome before you. It is the king sent you. If it is the king sent you." So she would have said, "A welcome if the king sent you," and he was to say, "The king sent me." It's like, well, anyone could go in and say, "The king sent me," couldn't they? So he stopped there and took the woman for his wife. And every day for 3 days he brought a load of firing to the king's house. And on each day he saw a blind man and a lame man on his back coming out of the house before him. They would go on till they were at the brink of a well before the hill. "Is it there?" the blind man would say. "It is indeed," the lame man would say. "Let us go away," the lame man would say then. And at the end of 3 days, as he thought, Nera asked the woman about this. "Why do the blind man and the lame man go every day to the well?" he said. "They go to know, is the crown safe that is in the well? It is there the king's crown is kept." "Why do these two go?" said Nera. "It is easy to tell that," she said. "They are trusted by the king to visit the crown, and one of them was blinded by him, and the other was lamed. And another thing," she said, "go now and give a warning to your people to mind themselves next Samhain night, unless they will come to attack the hill. For it is only at Samhain," she said, "the army of the Sidhe can go out, for it is at that time the hills of the Sidhe of Ireland are opened. But if they will come, I will promise them this, the crown of Brian to be carried off by Ailill and Maeve." Sorry, taking notes again. Sorry. "How can I give them that message," said Nera, "when I saw the whole dun of Cruachan burned and destroyed, and all the people destroyed with it?" "You did not see that, indeed," she said. "It was the host of the Sidhe came and put that appearance before your eyes." "And go back to them now," she said, "and you will find them sitting round the same great pot, and the meat has not yet been taken off the fire." Yum yum. I hope it's salted pork. That's me speaking, by the way. That's not in the text. "How will it be believed that I have gone into the hill?" said Nera. "Bring flowers of summer with you," said the woman. So he brought wild garlic with him, and primroses and golden fern. So he went back to the palace, and he found his people round the same great pot, and he told them all that had happened to him, and the sword was given to him, and he stopped with his people to the end of a year. Thank you, Desiree, for the information about bone marrow. Consuming it would be good, but applying it to a wound, not so good, apparently. So thank you for that. A little bit of assistance and filling in my very poor knowledge on these uh, matters. At the end of the year, Ailill said to Nera, "We are going now against the hill of the Sidhe, and let you go back," he said, "if you have anything to bring out of it." So he went back to see the woman, and she bade him welcome. "Go now," she said, "and bring in a load of firing to the king, for I went in myself every day for the last year with a load on my back, and I said there was sickness on you." So he did that. Then the men of Connacht and the black host of the exiles of Ulster went into the hill and robbed it and brought away the crown of Brian, son of Smetra, Smetra, that was made by the smith of Angus, son of Umor, Umor, would that be pronounced Uvor? And that was kept in the well at Cruachan to save it from the Morrigu. Wow. "And Nera was left with his people in the hill, and he has not come out till now, and he will not come out till the end of life and time." Wow. So we call that fits into that theme of myth, which is kind of roughly King Under Mountain. Exploited, is that the word? Or inspiring, J.R.R. Tolkien, in terms of the Dead Army, the Paths of the Dead, but Garrett's Fort at RD, and similar tales where there's a hero or somebody waiting with a sleeping army under the ground until the end of time. Now, one time the Morrigu brought away a cow from the hill of Cruachan to the brown bull of Cuchulain, and after she brought it back again, its calf was born. And one day it went out of the hill, and it bellowed 3 times. At that time, Ailill and Fergus were playing draughts, for it was after Fergus had come as an exile from Ulster, because of the deaths of the sons of Uisnech, that they heard the bellowing of the bull calf in the plain. Then Fergus said, "I do not like the sound of the calf bellowing. There will be calves without cows," he said, "when the king goes on his march." But now Ailill's bull, Finnbanach, the white-horned, met the calf in the plain of Cruachan, and they fought together, and the calf was beaten, and it bellowed. "What did the calf bellow?" Maeve asked her cowherd, Boilia. "I know that, my master," Fergus said Brickrew. "It is the song that you were singing a while ago." On that, Fergus turned and struck with his fist at his head, so that the 5 men of the chessmen that were in his hand went into Brickrew's head, and it was a lasting hurt to him. I'm sure it was. "Tell me now, Boilia, what did the calf bellow?" said Maeve. "It said indeed," said Boilia, "that if its father, the Brown of Cuchulain, would come to fight with the white-horned, he would not be seen any more in eye, as in Cruachan eye, or my eye. He would be beaten through the whole plain of eye on every side." And it is what Maeve said. "I swear by the gods my people swear by, I will not lie down on feathers or drink red or white ale till I see those 2 bulls fighting before my face." And that is the end of the chapter. I read all the way to the end because so many of you are saying, keep reading, because we didn't do an episode last week. I felt guilty. Really, I did. Honestly. Yes, indeed, Richard. Bridget was fed from a white cow with red ears. It's a curious thing, isn't it? Like King Arthur, says Helen. Yes, similar idea, exactly. Apparently, there are still cultures today who bath in broth. Wow. Which cultures are they, Amanda June? I'm fascinated. So Rothio says, "I just asked my boyfriend. He is a physician, more specifically an anesthetologist. He told me marrow has a lot of nutrients, collagen, and good non-saturated grease for articulations and movement. He says it is often recommended for people to recover faster from some diseases, but only by consuming it." Yeah, exactly. Not by rubbing it in wounds and cuts and grazes and that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, a few people saying the same thing. Consuming, yes. Bathing in, not so good. The Native Americans used buffalo marrow as a healing broth. I don't know about bathing in it. Yeah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's an obscure reference. We likened it to the Milky Way, myself and Richard Moore in Island of the Setting Sun, but there's obviously, remember, this is symbolic, allegorical. It is myth, but there's something in it that's relevant. There's something in it that speaks to ritual, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Ivani is saying Knockfergus is an old name for the town and area of Carrickfergus, and because I have family ties to this place in the Old Ulster. Correct. Yeah, I believe so. And I think I think we might have read that at some point as well. I think that's right. Yeah. Interesting idea. Interesting thought, Brendan. I always thought that if I was a druid, I would cover the inside of Brunebonia with Wicklow quartz, and just before the sun rose, rub the quartz together to create light, and then the rising sun would hit the quartz inside. Looks like I called it in the power I would appear to have. Yeah. And remember that in Tuchmark Etain, Brunebonia is mentioned, is referred to as the crystal bower, in which Angus protects Etain when she's in the form of a scarlet fly, having been transformed by Midger's jealous wife, justifiably jealous wife, Fuamnach. A crystal bower, yes. There's a Welsh legend about a cauldron which brought the dead back to life. Was he bathing in a cauldron? I don't think it said a cauldron. I think it was more like a... I think it was more like a bath of marrow, wasn't it? And let a healing bath be made for him now, he said, of the marrow of pigs and of a heifer. But, I don't have the Irish version of this. I always like to read the Middle Irish version because sometimes a word, there are various alternatives for that word. And I wonder if bath was chosen rather than cauldron. I don't know. Must look that up. Anthony, slightly off subject, say Nico and Stephen. I don't know which of you. I think is it Nico that's speaking. As my mother's people, the Arapaho, used spider webs to seal wounds. Had to do so about a week ago, as I gashed a knuckle wide. It's healed with a scar, but healed. Wow. That's the problem with myth. It's a secret way of conveying knowledge to the initiates that held the keys of interpretation. And we're left kind of guessing now. Excuse me. Mavanway is saying, very grateful you kept reading, so I got my dose of live Irish myths. Yeah. And you can watch the first part of the episode now when we finish. Bonus material, huh? Now, is gelatin created from bones could be useful in healing? All sorts of interesting ideas here, Barbara, well, I'm very glad to hear that you enjoyed today's tales. And yes, absolutely fascinating stuff, yeah. If you're a Bronze Age patron, you can watch my lovely conversation with Michael Quirk, the artist, the wood carving artist, and very, very knowledgeable man in terms of myth and legend. And he and I had a discussion about Toynbee Freke and the meaning of Freke and the water and the monster and the lady helping him and all of that. And he was liking it to the tales of the Arthurian tales, because he reckoned that Findavar was just a variant name of Guinevere. And what did he say the sword was called? Colin Bullock, which he said was a variant of Excalibur. Fascinating stuff. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you get over to Patreon. You'll see the link to my Patreon scrolling on the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen throughout every episode. But if you sign up as a Bronze Age patron now, if you search for Michael Quirk, Michael Quirke, you'll see that a few years ago, myself and Grant Wakefield did a lovely interview with him while he was working on his wood carvings, his wood art in his premises in Wine Street in Sligo town, in Sligo city. And that whole interview can be watched back if you are a Bronze Age patron. I think it's something you would really, really, really enjoy. This man has fabulous insights into mythology, and a real star, a real lovely guy too. Right, that's it. I have to before, what's her name? Is it Amanda? No, not Amanda. Tuesday Thompson, is it? Is it Tuesday Thompson, or who normally reminds me about? No, it's not Tuesday Thompson. It's But I'll tell you now who it is. I have to read through the names to get reminded who it is. It is, give me one moment, or give me more, Lily Shambles, isn't it? Who normally reminds me to put out the bins. So that's the next duty. Anyway, I'm glad you were able to join us. And before we go, if you were a patron, you knew this already, but the Mythical Ireland 2026 calendar is ready to go to print. And if you want to see the images that are used in it, you go to the link that I'm just sharing there now. And it would be even better again if you pre-ordered your copy. So you can go to, if you're in Ireland, this year, free postage. So you just pay for the calendar. If you're in the rest of the world, unfortunately, because of the expense of posting things from Ireland, I can't offer free postage on it to the rest of the world. But that link will bring you to the calendar. Be great if you could pre-order your copy. I know many of you have been waiting for it. A lot of people have been asking about it recently. So there it is. It's all ready to go to print, and it should take about a week to get printed. And as soon as I get the printed copies here, all of the pre-orders will be dispatched. They will get the immediate priority, of course, you know. Anyway, thank you all for your lovely companionship and comments tonight. Apologies for the last few weeks, just with various things happening. We had to postpone, and last week we cancelled completely because it just turned into such a busy week. But all going well. Join us again this time, this night next week, this afternoon next week, depending on where you are in the world, this morning next week, 8 p.m. Irish time. We will have to be careful now as we're heading for clock changes. Oh, yes. So I will have to postpone next week because my good lady wife just reminded me that the Lou Festival of Light is taking place here in Drogheda. Which means I will be out next Monday night. So I'll have to postpone to Tuesday, I think. There you go. Just when we thought we were heading back to Monday. Yeah, so we have to watch the clock changes because I think we fall back. Is it before or after the States? It's before, isn't it? So we have to just watch for that. And yeah, I probably won't be live streaming next Monday because I'll be attending the last night of the Lou Festival of Light, which I'm heavily involved with. So we'll see you probably Tuesday, but I will announce which evening the live stream is on beforehand. Anyway, thank you all, everybody, for your wonderful accompaniment. And see you all very soon. In the meantime, go and get your calendars. Plural. Yay! Ikawa Kolosov, Slán go fóil. And all that remains after that for me to say is Tóg go bugé.